everything's different. But
Mm-hmm.
for it seems like a lot of us, we're kind of stuck in this marching, hold a sign,
Right.
hold hands.
Let your voice be heard. Lift
Yeah,
every voice
lift
and
every voice.
sing. Right?
So does that stem from how we were conditioned because of our
Absolutely.
experience in this country?
Absolutely. A lot of that has to do with our religious influence of Christianity, but we're not gonna get too deep into that.
Woo!
There's not
I'm not
more
gonna get my
that
little podcast canceled before it gets started.
a lot of it does have to do with that though, because
Yeah.
when you're cultivated to believe in a particular way and understand that when you have pain inflicted upon you, that it's okay because you're going to get rewarded later, not right now, then you don't do things that you need to do. You do not organize and move forward. One of the things that unfortunately we have developed as a culture is accepting, like I said earlier, the short end of the stick, or accepting pain, accepting to not have a lot, accepting the lowest rung on the ladder. We have learned to just accept that because we expect that we're not going to get anything better because we view white folks as the standard and as the goal. And if they can pay attention to us, we're good with it. What me and you are talking about at the moment is that is not working anymore. Just letting your voice be heard and letting people be, see your frustration doesn't get the job done.
Mhm.
We are dealing on a political and financial level where we have to really start hitting people where it hurts, and our strategies need to be, they need to be uh, brought it brought to more modern times. I'll say it that way. I want to say they need to be manifested to something that's actually going to make a difference today. Because those old strategies, they've already figured out ways around that. They figured, oh, we cannot have another Martin Luther King. We can't have that. So we're going to buy those leaders off first before they get to that level. And that's where they get black folks like me who have a little bit of intellect, and they say, oh, that's a smart one. Let's get him now. Because
Mhm.
if he gets to that level to have a voice, he's going to be a problem. Right? They
Mhm.
figured that out already, but we haven't figured that out. That they figured it out. Right?
Right.
We're still holding on to the victories that we've had, the small victories that we had, and thinking that they're going to continue when they're not. We're not going to win anything like that. The other thing is and this is where the religion piece comes in. I was talking about earlier. We're always looking for something outside of ourselves to come in and fix our problems.
Mhm.
We have to be able to, have whatever outside entities inside of us that are inside of us come out and fix our problems for us, right? We're here. I mean, that's the gift that we were given from whatever creator that we want to think of is our life. And you have to figure out the best way to live that life to move forward. Because if we keep waiting on the blessing, if we keep waiting on a miracle, it's not happening. We keep getting our butts whipped. We keep losing people. We keep getting defeated in the justice system because we're not understanding that we are the gift that is here. Other people understand that. That's why they utilize our skills, our talents, and our genius all the time. It's important for us to start from a cultural angle, pushing our young people to do things with their genius, become lawyers. We should be, as black people, as much injustice as we've gone through, I would
Mhm.
just say in the last 25 years. I ain't even going to talk about since we've been here.
Mhm.
We should be the number one profession that we should all be going to is law school. We should just right away. What you gonna be when you grow up, little man? I'm gonna be a lawyer. What kind of lawyer? Whatever type we need. Like that's it. We don't need to. We shouldn't be focusing on nothing but lawyers.
Mhm.
But literally, if we just
Yeah.
said 2020 or our 2040 strategy in the next 20 years is to make sure that 30% of our children are born are going to be lawyers. They're going to go into politics, education, and skilled labor. So because we're going to need people to fix stuff and build stuff. If we
Mhm.
just focus on that, our community would look different. We just had an initiative that says this is 40-40. Babies born in 2020, in the next 20 years, we expect them to be going or on the track for these types of fields. Our community will look different. And the folks around us will respond to us different because they don't expect us to do anything better. So they would have to do something. And if it's about racism, white supremacy, we're going to start moving forward. As black people, we have been designated to be the subjugated group of people in this system. Okay, for
Mhm.
capitalism to work, you have to have a lower class. There's no better lower class than a class that autopilot to stay stuck where they're at.
Yeah.
And we've been conditioned to just take the bare minimum and be stuck where we're at. And it helps the system work.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's why they joke and say, if we give these people reparations, they don't joke and say that. We say this. We get
Mm-hmm.
reparations. We ain't gonna do nothing but give it right back to them. And there's a lot of people that believe that. And guess what? There's probably some truth to that,
Right.
because we're a consumer based class. If we can't buy stuff, we will lose our minds.
Mm-hmm.
That's done by design to keep us there. The civil rights movement wasn't about being able to sit at lunch counters with white folks, but they seen that was such an important thing for us, and that was where the fight was to be able to shop and eat with white folks. They said, damn, that's all they want.
Mm-hmm.
They just want to spend their money with us.
Mm-hmm.
Let's do it. Bring it on
Right.
in. And now we are trapped in that. So
Yeah, and I don't know if I'll get in trouble for saying this. I think it was that being able, you already probably know where I'm gonna go. Being able to spend money and shop where they shop,
Mhm.
and be able to go and buy a house next to, in a white neighborhood, and also interracial sex. That all of that kind of said, oh, we have reached the promised land. And when that happened, we just totally took our eyes up. I mean, maybe that was the goal. Maybe consciously, subconsciously, you know,
Yeah,
that was that was what we wanted.
maybe. And I mean, we've been cultivated. I keep using that term because it's a deliberate term I'm using. We've been
Mm-hmm.
socialized, cultivated to see white as a standard. So the closest we can get to white, the better we see our lives. If our God is white, if our teachers are white, if the law is white, if the judge is white, if the is all these things that impact our life on a day-to-day are white. Why would you not want to be white, right?
Right.
If you have a light-skinned cousin, or somebody who's quote unquote fair skin,
Mm-hmm.
and their life is a little bit better than yours, you want that too. And that's where that self quote unquote hatred comes from, what I call anti-blackness, because the farther away from black that you get, the better your life ends up being.
Mm-hmm.
And that continues on till today,
Yeah.
unfortunately. So yes, we strive to have more of a white life, and that's why we see success as being white, because anything successful has to be through white hands or through white dollars. It
Mm-hmm.
doesn't have to be like that. We are in a time where we have the internet that can propel us all, right? Whether you're white or not, people don't even have to know what you look like,
Mm-hmm.
honestly.
Mm-hmm.
But we're so stuck and get cultivated from that white to be successful, in order to be smart, anything. If I was a white man named Brandon Jones, I got the same name, but I'm white, and I'm talking the same stuff I'm talking now, I'll be a multi-million. I'll be bigger than I've been D'Angelo. I'll be the biggest white person out here. It'd be me and Brene Brown to be on tour, taking
Uh-huh.
over. I'll be like Ellen, dancing,
It's true.
doing the wobble.
It's so true. What you're saying is so true. And I think the one thing is, and I believe again that we had brought this up in season one, which if you guys haven't listened to season one of my many episodes with Brandon, you definitely want to check that out. But we were talking about the importance of taking time to reflect and look at your actions, um, and just begin to observe how you kind of move and show up in the world. And we were saying how we as a community, we never really had an opportunity to do that because we were under stress. We're living under this constant stress. So you're basically in survival mode. Like there is no time to sit back and say, oh, look at my actions. Maybe next time I should respond differently. There was no time to do that because you were just trying to get through each day and in survival mode. So now that we have that space to do that, that's like a new concept to us. Like
Yeah.
let's sit and think this through and develop a plan,
Mm-hmm.
and not just kind of start moving forward because who knows what's going to happen tomorrow or later today. Would you agree with that this is just basically a new way of thinking for us as a group, of course?
Yeah, collectively, we've been conditioned to be reactionary. White person calls you the N-word, you respond, right?
Mm-hmm.
You get a job because someone gave it to you, you respond. What I try to do in my work and what I think is most helpful for us is to be proactive. Black excellence does not have to come at the acceptance of whiteness. We can do what we want to do, how we want to do it at our own level of agency. We can do those things, and we have the power, the genius, and tools to do them. We just culturally don't have the permission.